Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Isaac from A Bus Life Story, and today we're going to talk about the OGO composting toilet and the Nature's Head composting toilet and how they compare to each other. Real quick backstory here. We're building this 29-foot bus for my family and I to live in, and I purchased the Nature's Head composting toilet. It was not given to me. I bought it for this build. And then as the build kind of progressed, I decided to go with an OGO composting toilet instead. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to tell you the differences between these two toilets and why I have decided to end up going with the OGO instead personally. But first, let's unbox the OGO and show you what's in the box, and then we'll get farther into the video. Let's go. So I got some cocoa core, I got the drain kit, and what's this? Well, let's take this stuff out. So there's some cocoa core. I did get some accessories for the OGO, so I got like the drain kit and the, you know, some other stuff. Let's see what this is. Oh, that's the shell vent. So this is the shell vent for the exhaust. Alright, so we just got this thing opened up. Looks like they got a vent tube in here. And this looks like the 12-volt power. Looks like screws for mounting it. Spray bottle, and then here is the urine. Oh, okay, so there's the urine bottle. Okay, let's get into, so I got the OGO composting toilet kind of all unpacked. I've had this sitting around the shop for a while, and now let's get into the differences between the two toilets. Let's start with the price. So both these toilets are about the same price. They're both about $1,000, give or take a little bit, and you know, prices change all the time, but pretty much they're both about $1,000. So price-wise, there isn't much difference. Let's get into the nitty-gritty now. Now, most people, you can use these things for a bunch of different applications. For my application, you know, it's going in a converted school bus, and space is kind of a big deal, right? This is a little bit bigger. This takes a lot more space, it needs more clearance. The unit itself is a lot bigger than the OGO. The OGO takes less space, needs less clearance. There is a size difference, but that also means there is a capacity difference. So the Nature's Head is good for roughly 60 to 80 trips, which is 4 to 6 weeks before you have to empty it. The OGO is about half of that. It's 20 to 30 trips, let me check, yeah. 20 to 30 trips, and it's about a 2-week range. A lot of you guys right now would be like, oh, the Nature's Head is better, right? This has about half the capacity, it's the same price. But let me tell you why, in my opinion, I think the OGO still wins over that, right? The Nature's Head has been around a really long time. It's probably one of the first ones to hit the market, super trusted name. You probably know somebody that's got a Nature's Head and they love it or hate it. The reason that I kind of strayed away from this is because of how hard it is to change. So you gotta take this thing off, and you gotta basically take the whole unit out. You gotta take this whole unit out of your rig to clean it. Your longer times in between, but it's more difficult to clean, in my opinion. You gotta pull the whole toilet out to clean the thing. So this is about half the capacity, but the cool thing is your toilet can be mounted, and then you just just pull this bucket out. So I think it's easier to clean. So instead of taking the whole toilet out to clean it, all I gotta do is pull this bucket out and dump it, and then just put the bucket back. So in my opinion, it's easier to clean, which makes having to clean it more, I think it's kind of a wash. Now, this is also my opinion. I don't want to be pulling a whole toilet out of my rig to try and clean it. It just looks like you're cleaning a toilet. Versus this, I could pull the bucket out, dump it in a bag, get rid of my waste, and just walk out with a trash bag that looks a lot more normal. So the capacity as far as the solids is very different. This has more capacity, harder to clean. Less capacity, way easier to clean. I thought this next part was kind of interesting. So this has double the solids capacity, but the OGO actually has a bigger urine capacity. This has a 2.2 gallon urine tank, and this guy has, the OGO has a 2.4 gallon urine capacity. Now, we're gonna touch on another reason why I decided to go with OGO right here. So you're gonna see a lot of people say they despise cleaning or dumping the urine tanks, myself included. So there's a lot of videos online of people rigging up systems to bypass the urine tank. And Nature's Head used to sell a diverter, and they quit selling it for whatever reason. So if you do want to divert your urine and go to a gray tank, you got to basically just rig something up, which, you know, is pretty common. But the thing that I really like about the OGO, you can buy a urine diversion drain kit right off the website. So, you know, it goes back to this thing just becomes easier and easier to use, which in my opinion, the easier something is to use, the more often you're gonna use it, right? So you can buy a urine diversion kit right online, right off the website. When you do order the toilet, you don't gotta rig anything up, it's already made for you. I think that's a big deal. Nature's Head, why did you quit selling? I don't understand. But so that's another thing. I don't want to mess with the tank. I want to route this straight to my gray tank, and I like that the OGO actually has, you know, it's easier to clean the solids. Next up, now for some of the other differences between the two toilets. The Nature's Head is pretty much all mechanical, short of the 12-volt fan. You know, your aggregator, I haven't put the arm on, but basically you turn it. It's all manual, which is, it's honestly a good thing in some ways. I think the OGO is a little bit more modern. It has an electronic aggregator, so you just press a button right here, and boom, it'll aggregate your compost. It's just kind of fancy. The other thing is it also has a sensor in this switch. So if you do use the urine tank on here, this will light up red when you need to change it. So you might have heard horror stories of people overflowing their urine tanks. This should be a big help in doing that, because when it does fill up to, when the tank is full, you know, this thing flashes red and it's like, yo, you need to dump your urine tank. That's kind of nice. I mean, you can see it over here, but for some reason, people still overflow the pee jug, which is crazy. Let me show you both the ways these things work. Let's start with the Nature's Head. All right, so when you want to use a Nature's Head toilet, if you want to do a number 1, you know, it just goes right there, which is cool. But if you want to do that number 2, you just open up this little flap, do your business. You have the arm right here, you turn it, that's it. That's how you do number 2, and then you just empty the tank, right? Let's head over to the OGO. When you want to use the OGO, same thing. You lift the lid, and it's got the urine spot right there, but also, if you want to take a number 2, you pull this little whoop-de-whoop, opens up your number 2, do your thing. Instead of turning it manually like the Nature's Head, you press this fancy little button, turns it for you, kind of feels fancy. That's pretty pretty much the differences between the two toilets and why I have decided to go with the OGO. So let's just do a quick little recap for you. Both about the same price. Urine capacity is about the same, but the OGO is just a tiny bit more. Solids capacity is double. You got a 4 to 6 weeks range on the solids on this guy, and you got like a 2-week range on this guy. But again, the reason that I like the OGO over this, I think the OGO is easier to clean, you know. So the longer range is cool. OGO, you gotta clean it more often, but it's way easier to clean. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. I think the OGO is a little bit more modern with some modern features, like the electronic aggregator, the sensor telling you when the pee bottle is full. That's kind of cool. Also, I should touch on this real quick. When I was first hearing about the OGO and I heard about some of these different electronic things going on with the OGO, I was assuming that it was going to take like 2 to 3 different 12-volt attachments as far as connecting wires. That is going to take more wiring, which, you know, I'm not trying to do more wiring. It's still just a red and black wire. So same amount of wiring, does all those cool things. This does take a red and black wire for the fan too over here, but you know, it's just a fan. So a little bit more modern, a little smaller. And in these rigs, you know, space is kind of a big deal. You don't necessarily have a lot of space. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you one is better than the other. That's gonna depend on your needs. I wanted to make this video to just kind of tell you about both of the toilets and specifically how they compare to each other, since I bought this with the intention of putting this in my rig, and then I ended up getting this, and like why I decided to go with this toilet. And in full disclosure, OGO did send me this. And this was my idea to do this video and install, but like I bought this one and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, give it away or sell it or something, but that's kind of the differences between the two toilets. Now, I have decided that I'm gonna install this toilet today with you guys so you can kind of see what that looks like. That's kind of it for the review part. So if you're only here for the comparison, you can dip out of the video right now. If you wanna see me install this, let's go ahead and do it right now. Oh yeah, quick little two-second thing here. If you do end up wanting the OGO toilet, I do have a small discount code, and if you use my affiliate link below, it doesn't cost you any more money, saves you a little bit of money, and helps me out just a little bit. So if you want an OGO toilet, discount code and all that stuff down below in the links. Now let's go install. All right, y'all, one of the main reasons, probably the biggest reason I went with the OGO is because of this urine diversion kit, and I just kind of want to show you how this works. They give you this little kit here, and it looks like we're gonna cut this plastic out right here. We're gonna do it, but I wanna talk you through it. Cut that plastic out. This flange sits in there, right? Then there's this little 10-inch piece of PVC right here that just kind of sticks in there. Bang, oop, and then this goes on top. Boom. And then this guy comes down into that, and bam! Your urine goes through there, and then this goes on the bottom to your gray tank. Massive. You're gonna hear a lot of people talk about diverting their urine. That one little kit that you gotta buy separately, one of the biggest reasons I went with the OGO, so I don't gotta worry about this tank. I did just talk to OGO, and one of the things I wish they did was made like a little bump out in this tank so that I could swap back and forth. If I wanted to go into that tank, I could just pull all this out real quick, stick this right over that flange and it'd fit in there. Right now, this won't go over that. You can't really go back unless you pull that little flange thing out. So, just kind of getting my eyeballs here on how we're gonna install this and getting the game plan before we start cutting holes and drilling things. So, just wanted to show you how that kind of all works before we do it. Instructions call for like using this knife. If you got a hole saw, just use a hole saw. I want to show you this. So apparently these fans can be swapped, so I can move the tube to the other side and blah blah blah. The reason I'm doing that is because in here I know I have a rib on this side where it's clear on this side, so I'd rather pop the vent tube through on this side somewhere. So I'm switching these vents. Woo! I just want to say this, switching those fans was a lot more of a mission than they have you believe in the manual. Sorry, OGO. That was definitely a mission. So let's dry fit this thing, get a placement. I just watched a video on the shell vent, so like I just hooked up the wire and I'm kind of like getting a game plan on like where I'm going to be cutting holes and things like that. So what I've learned is I need a piece of 1¼ PVC to go through this. I just called my local hardware store, they don't have it. OGO, please put an 1¼ PVC in here that can be cut down for your install kit. So I'm gonna cut the hole, I think, because I just watched an install video on their Instagram. It needs an 1¾ hole saw. I'm gonna do as much as I can today because I want to just get as many projects done as I can, and then I'll have to go to town and get a piece of 1¼ PVC to finish the install. But yeah, so let's mount this down, cut some holes, blah blah blah. We just got the urine diverter stuff all hooked up, and we got the 3/4 PVC through the floor. Now, I'm not just leaving it like that. I am gonna attach it to my gray tank system, but I'm just doing that for now. I also don't like how short that I need a longer length, so I need to just go get some 3/4 PVC from Home Depot and bring that down a little bit more. But I think that's you get the idea, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end of this video. So I did everything I could to install the OGO toilet with the urine diverter, and the things that I am missing that we need to finish this install, so you know, we need a piece of, come here, we need a piece of 1¼ PVC so that we can go through the wall to the vent tube. I need a piece of 3/4 PVC so I can make the bottom urine diverter a little bit longer to attach to my gray tank. It's not quite long enough to work with. Did I say 1¼ PVC? Yeah, and I need an 1¾ hole saw to go through the wall. So a couple things I'm missing. I hope this helps as far as the difference between this toilet and Nature's Head. why we did this, and then I installed it so you can kind of see what that looks like. Hope this video helps you guys. Now, if you got this far and this is the first time you've ever been on this channel, if you like skoolies or bus stuff in general, consider subscribing. If you're a long-time subscriber, so much love for you guys. We have a discount code for the OGO Toilet if you decide that you want to get one. And I will see you guys in another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.